Hello, welcome in right now here to Caden's Weather Center here. It is July 14th here at 6:15 p.m. right now, paying attention to a severe weather threat that is going on to the next day into July 15th here on Monday. Right now it is Sunday and we're talking about the storms that are expected on Monday. So, starting off with already today though, we can already see we do have that slight risk continuing on in North Dakota, parts of western Minnesota, continuing into northern South Dakota, and then another area of slight risk right over here including southern Wisconsin, eastern Iowa, northern Illinois, majority of Indiana, and west central Ohio. Could be seeing some, slight risk threat. So possibilities for tornado and high winds are definitely the biggest threat. I would say the storms are going to probably happen a little bit more later on this evening, going into tomorrow morning, early tomorrow morning. But we're going to keep seeing that ramp up severe thunderstorm threat as we go on throughout the night for these two areas here. Not as bad as what we're anticipating tomorrow, though. What we're anticipating into tomorrow, as you can clearly see, we have a marginal risk all the way over here, stretching from the northeast over here into parts of Wyoming and Colorado. We have a little bit of a slight risk over here in parts of Wyoming, Colorado, Nebraska. That is a slight risk, but this is our main area of focus that we want to pay attention to as we go on throughout tomorrow. We have that enhanced risk, including in central and eastern parts of Iowa here, central Illinois, northern Illinois, going into parts of Indiana here. The slight risk stretching all through Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan as well, going still into Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa. So, very, very big area of where we could be seeing some possible for tornadoes and large hail and all those severe weather threat as we head in throughout tomorrow afternoon and into some possibly into the early morning as well. So, this is the tornado threat. As you can see, this green area is a 2% tornado threat right here. The brown is a 5%, so that is just outside of Chicago, that 5% chance here, but this does include Cedar Rapids, Davenport, and Bloomington. You guys are in that 5% risk there. But then if you head into the more 2% risk here, Des Moines, Iowa, you're in that. Chicago, you are in that. And Fort Wayne, you are in that. So that is a little bit of a tornado possible threat tomorrow. So we could be having maybe a live stream, but we'll have to see. But definitely a possible tornado threat is still out there on the table. Our biggest threat tomorrow will be the wind. As you can clearly see, we have this black line right here with the white dashes. That is a significant to severe threat here for wind. Red is very, very severe, so that's including Chicago area, Fort Wayne, several areas here stretching from Iowa all the way over here into Indiana. We are seeing several places in that red, so that, several cities that could be put into some gusty winds. So possible winds over here over to 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts that could be definitely anticipated with some of these storm systems, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Then we only have just a small slight risk for hail here, so that is at least some type of good news. But the biggest threat, it seems to be hail, and also it will be it would be hail, and it also would be most likely just some not hail but tornadoes and wind that is going to be the biggest threat going into tomorrow. Alright, taking a look here at the future radar here for parts of the United States, obviously up here. Right now, as we can clearly see, this is around 4 a.m. time right now. So this is 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Time is at the top of your screen there. You can clearly see this is that severe weather threat that we're continuing to pay attention going on throughout today so far as well. This is going to be our area that we want to keep an eye out on, as all of these storms right here will continue to push down to the southeast. So this could potentially pose a big wind threat as well. Earlier in the morning for over here into these areas. Then we continue to pay attention to it heading into 7 a.m. We could definitely see some very large amounts of wind with this storm here, as you can clearly see, and then some of these storms continuing on in northeastern part of Ohio, Cleveland, Detroit, Michigan. You guys are getting involved with some of that, but that is not the biggest severe threat that we're going to continue to have. This is what we're going to keep an eye on. We have 11 a.m. tomorrow. This is where it's not as bad, but still, look at this storm still definitely packing a punch here, as it's going to be pushing east into Wisconsin here. The rest of it is over here in the Canada region, but this is one of the biggest severe areas right in this region that we want to keep an eye out on, as this is going to continue to push off to the east. Then we go on to the next couple of hours, 4 p.m. tomorrow. That is when we start to see it. So it does seem like we'll have a little bit of that severe weather risk going into tomorrow in the morning right in this area, but then as we head into the evening hours, that is where we see a whole completely different area of severe weather down here in this region right here. So definitely something to be paying attention to as we're going on throughout the next couple of hours here throughout tomorrow. You can clearly see around 6 p.m., 7 p.m., Cedar Rapids, you are going to get hammered possibly by these storms continuing to push off over here to the east or southeast here. But you see that blue, that means we could possibly be having some very, very strong storms in there. So any possible storms could be, really, really wind maker with this one. And according to this radar, it does seem like what we're taking a look at, if we clearly look at this really quickly here, this storm right here, this one is going to be really just that wind storm. These ones have the best possibilities of forming a tornado. Their own individual supercells over here, they could form a possible tornado as we continue on with that. Then we headed over here to a little bit more going on. Potentially, look at this, 10 p.m. tomorrow night, we could be seeing Chicago. You are possibly in this wind threat right here. Davenport, Cedar Rapids, you guys could be in this severe weather threat as we go in tomorrow. And then over 12 a.m., we can clearly see this area right here starts to get very, very big. Chicago, you've already gotten hit by some of these storms, but these storms right here, this little area could have any type of spin-ups going into tomorrow, where we could be possibly seeing any type of tornado form out of one of these supercells. We could see it. We could, but, we'll have to definitely keep an eye out on that. Heading into 2 a.m. on July 16th, you can clearly see another band of here rain is trying to form right over here in southern Iowa, heading into central Illinois, as we still have this big storm system right here that we're keeping an eye out on very, very closely here. Then we continue to watch it very closely. 4 a.m. here, July 16th, we can clearly see on Tuesday, very, very large storms continuing to go just east of Toledo over here, headed probably for Cleveland. And then we have this whole big rain and thunderstorm threat that we can continue to see on over the next couple of days, it seems, but then starts to dissipate as we head into July 16th. So on Tuesday, heading into the afternoon, it will start to be down here, but really just some scattered thunderstorms as we go on throughout the rest of the couple days. So once again, here's that outlook right now for tomorrow. As we're heading into tomorrow, Iowa, eastern Iowa, you are going to be in this, going into northern Illinois and Indiana for the enhanced. Chicago, Illinois, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Des Moines, Iowa, Aurora, Illinois, and Rockford, Illinois. You guys are in this area, and that enhanced risk that we could be seeing a potentially dangerous situation for gusty winds. That is our main area where we could be seeing some major winds. So possible derecho tomorrow we could have to see. We'll have to pay attention to that. But even if you are in the marginal risk, expect some possible thunderstorms as well in some of your areas, but mostly the derecho type storm looking, it will be more in slight and enhanced risk. So please be making sure you are paying attention and staying tuned to your National Weather Service. Please make sure to stay tuned. Also here on Caden's Weather Centers, we're going to be possibly live going into tomorrow night due to this possible big storm headed right through the Ohio Valley. So please be keeping an eye out on that, and we will get to you a little bit more. Another update will come out probably tomorrow, and we'll let you know. Thank you so much for watching here on Caden's Weather Center. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you, and bye-bye.